Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here, and finally back with another video on YouTube, which nearly didn't happen either because I just recorded a 10-minute video on this exact topic, and when I went to edit it to put it up, realized there was no sound on the video. So yes, the mic is on this time. So look, I haven't been putting videos up, but I have been replying to emails and DMs and that and chatting to people daily. Been in the markets myself, but just haven't put any content out. That's changing now. I'm going to get back to more regular videos and updates, and make sure you let me know in the comments down below what you want to see and what your thoughts are on everything that has happened over the last week and where you think things might go. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give my opinion on the last week or two, then talk about the potential damage it's done to Bitcoin. Is this just a dead cat bounce? And then where I personally think we are going and my own situation as well. We had always looked at Bitcoin as a store of value. That's what we wanted the wider world to see, was Bitcoin as digital gold and the store of value. That it unfortunately didn't hold up as that in this panic. To me, there is a lot of manipulation here. There is no one reason that Bitcoin just had its worst day in history, dropping 40%, 42% overall. And if you take into account what happened a few hours into the next day, it dropped about 60% within a 24-hour period. Yes, it bounced right back and it didn't hang down at the lows for long, but we have to look at what that is going to do to people's opinions on Bitcoin. So we need to get some stability in there. Some of the reasons for it, there's theories going around about the miners that they sold off to drive the price down and basically make the smaller miners capitulate, because when Bitcoin was at the really low levels, it was not profitable for miners to mine Bitcoin. So only the bigger companies that had really cheap electricity were still able to pull through it. Truth, but again, I still wouldn't put it down to fully that, because the miners still don't want to see the market going completely down. A lot of the miners, a lot of the big miners are in the game a long time, and they know the damage that can be done to, I suppose you could say, the brand of Bitcoin, in that if it's not seen as the store of value, then long term it's going to suffer for that. There is also, you have liquidations on derivative exchanges. So people who were long on Bitcoin and the market moved so quick, it just shot through liquidation levels. We had BitMEX even crashed. And maybe that's the only thing that stopped Bitcoin going near down into the three digits, was BitMEX crashed and things just went to shit there in the market. So look, to me, it's a combination of all. You also have bot trading in there. So when Bitcoin goes through certain levels, again, bots will all start to try and sell off. And the hope of the bots is that they will buy down at lower levels. But look, overall, I would say a mix of all of them things. What this has done for Bitcoin overall, we have to wait and see. It has shown some strength in the last few days. We are probably up about 80% from the very bottom at the 3.8 or 3.9 levels, which is good to see such an immediate response. Other markets have dumped as well, about 30%. They haven't seen anything like them kind of returns. But again, that's the volatility you come to expect with crypto. Not quite 60% drops in a day, but not much we can do with that now. What we've seen in the last few days as well, trading wise, has been kind of crazy. We're seeing 5 and 10% moves in Bitcoin. I've seen 5% moves in 5-minute candles and 10% moves. All crazy stuff. If you're trading on leverage, there is huge money to be made, but there is also unbelievable risk. Leverage trading, I see a lot of people pumping it out now at the minute, saying you can make crazy gains with it. Yes, you can, but there is the flip side of that as well, that if you're not using proper stops and risk management, then there is a good chance you're just going to liquidate your account. Because if you haven't got a fairly tight stop, I have been trading some of it myself, but I've been using really tight stops, looking to get on some of them big moves. And if it doesn't go my direction, the trade gets stopped out fairly quickly. But when it does go your way, there is great gains to be made. But if you're not using stops and Bitcoin has a 5 or a 10% move, it can easily liquidate you depending on the leverage you're using. So be fairly cautious on that. For myself, I am not selling off my Bitcoin now. I am still basically nearly all in Bitcoin in my portfolio. I have a small bit of altcoins as well, a smaller percentage of my crypto portfolio, but the majority and high majority is still in Bitcoin, as that is the one that generally succeeds first. You do see there was a mini altcoin rally, I suppose, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, where a lot of altcoins started to get up, but all of them have all lost them gains now that they gained against Bitcoin. So looking at other markets and where this potentially could go, we look at the likes of gold. Gold had a drop as well, but has held fairly stable in these markets. We have seen a lot of traditional stocks. We've seen the S&P and the Dow and a lot of other big trading indices and instruments, commodities, whatever you want, all having crazy drops. Gold over the last few years has generally been known as a store of value, and it is living up to it, even though the last week has been a bit rough. Personally, I think gold could potentially even fall further than it has now, but by the end of the year, I would not be surprised to see new all-time highs within gold. One of the reasons behind that is, at the minute, governments are out there just printing money like it's a game of Monopoly. They're not looking at the long-term consequences of this. So people are all thinking, oh, this is great. They're getting the government is just throwing money at them. They're printing 100 billion over here, 100 billion here, and it doesn't matter. There's going to be no knock-on effects. Seems to be the general feeling, but that is not true. Look what happened with Venezuela. Venezuela's currency is now worth nothing. We see already, if you're looking at the financial markets in terms of currencies, you already see currencies getting devalued and becoming worth a lot less. So when I would say if there's a dead cat bounce, it could be on the S&P. Actually, even today, it's starting to go back down again after having a bit of a gain yesterday. But I think, yes, the S&P may go up the beginning of next week, or depending on what happens over the weekend. You don't know at the minute. Anything can happen within a 2-day span with what's going on with the virus. The S&P could tank next week, or if it doesn't tank on Monday, I think we could start to come up a little bit as people get extra money. But overall, this market is only going one way. The S&P to me is only going one way. When you look at the likes of Bitcoin and gold, I think they may have some more downside, but longer term, they have huge upward potential, where I don't see that upward potential in the S&P or a lot of other stocks. Yes, there's some stocks that I'm keeping an eye on that I might get into over the next weeks or months, but there's none of them I will be jumping into right now. If I had funds, no financial advice, I would be considering the likes of gold and Bitcoin. I wouldn't be going in at the current prices. I would be setting my ladders. So I would be looking to dollar cost average in. So maybe if you have, say you have $1,000, you put $250, buy at the current price, $250 maybe at 6K, $250 at 5K, and $250 at 4K. So if Bitcoin shoots up, yes, you have some. If it goes right down, then the price that you bought in at is the average of all of them prices. So you don't end up having all of your funds in right now and then being at a bigger loss when you're down lower. So again, I can do videos on what all them kind of terms mean, and maybe I will over the next few weeks. So that's really where I see things going. I'll get into individual stocks and coins and stuff like that over the next few weeks, and talking about some of the theories that's out there. I would say anyone talking about TA, which is your technical analysis at the minute, don't read too much into TA, because there's so much going on in the world at the minute, so much fundamentals that need to be taken into consideration, that they can just invalidate any TA theories at the minute. These kind of drops here, they just hot knife through butter through all the levels of support that should have held up. So in times like this, TA, yes, it's good to have an idea of it, but a lot of it is bullshit right now as well. So hope this has been some value to you guys. Give the video a like, subscribe, share, whatever. Let me know down below as well the topics you want to see me getting into and how you are faring in these kind of markets. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you soon.